buckle up for what I'm about to tell you. If you don't know what decision to make today, if you don't know whether to get up and go to the gym or not to go to the gym, if you don't know whether to call your mom or not, if you don't know what to eat for lunch, if you don't know what to work on for yourself, if you don't know where to be spending your time in your business, you don't have a vision. If you can tell me what you want, you can have it. If you can't say it and you can't tell me what you want, you will never have it. Vision is your answer. What's up, and welcome back to the Get Out of Your Own Way show. I'm your host, Aaron Velke, and today we're going to talk about the symptoms that you might be experiencing if you don't have vision. Here's the reality of building vision and having vision. We talk about this all the time. I think in business, we don't talk about it very often with personal life. They are one and the same, right? There's not a distinguishing factor between a vision of a personal life and a business vision. They should be the same. What we don't talk about is, like, how do you know that you don't have one? How do you know that it's time to slow down, stop, and work on vision? Because the world will sell you on set the next target. The world will sell you on pick the next goal. The world will sell you on chase more. But how do you know what more to go for? And how do you know that it's time for you to build a vision out? If you are paying attention to this January energy where everyone's back in the gym for the third time in their life and and everyone's so excited about setting the next benchmark and next goal, then I encourage you to buckle up for what I'm about to tell you. Vision and the visionaries in this world. You think of like the top 5 visionaries that you know. I bet you would unanimously, all of you anywhere would say the same things. Here's what I would say, right? We got an obvious one in Musk. Oftentimes we hear, whenever I ask that question, we hear Mr. Trumpy Trump sold vision to the world, right? Sold it to Americans anyway. We think about like Bill Gates. We think about Steve Jobs, right? Some of these big time names. But that's not the only place visionaries exist. Visionaries exist in your neighborhood. They exist in families. They exist in friendships. They exist on podcasts, on shows. They exist in coaching. They exist in mentors. They exist in our small little tiny circles, our microcosm. Visionary is a set of conditions. And if we're going to address the symptoms when you don't have one, we need to make sure that you understand why vision is so important. So here you go. Here's a reason you need vision. If you don't know what decision to make today, if you don't know whether to get up and go to the gym or not to go to the gym, if you don't know whether to call your mom or not, if you don't know what to eat for lunch, if you don't know what to work on for yourself, if you don't know where to be spending your time in your business, you don't have a vision, because you need a vision to know the choice. Think of it this way. If I said to you, hey, you want to go for a hike? And you were like, yeah, bro, I definitely want to go for a hike. This sounds amazing. I love hiking. Most people say they go hiking. They really just go rock walking. Like, I get really frustrated when people are like, let's go for a hike. And we just walk for 2 miles and there's rocks. That's it's a rock walk. Like, if we're going to hike, let's do it. Let's find a fucking mountain. So I'm like, hey, let's go for a hike. You're like, yeah. And then we get there and you're like, oh man, I can't wait. I love hiking. And I go, yeah, I don't really know where we're going. And you're like, well, I mean, but you're the guy that led this. Like, you planned this. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I don't really know where we're going. So we're just going to walk. What is the likelihood that we get anywhere productive? Low. Now, we might have a mountain to look up to, but when the fork in the road comes, how do we know left or right? Well, in theory, at least in this example, it don't matter if we go left or right, because there's really nowhere to go. We're just walking. We are wandering at that point. We're lost without knowing what your destination is, what you want, your end goal, your end state. You don't have direction. You can't make choices. You don't even know how to make choices. And there's no right or wrong choice in that case, right? You could probably align with that. But here's what happens when you don't have vision, when you don't have the end goal in mind. You become reactive. Symptom number 1, you become reactive. You become so dialed and like stressed and tense that your day-to-day decisions are made based on day-to-day stimuli, day-to-day interpretations, day-to-day data. We become reactive because we don't have a way to say, this deserves my attention and this does not. We're not very good at saying no. We're just plain out bad. We say yes as a reactive state. You're probably, if you are reactive, also stressed, because in reactivity is this constant need to I got to answer this email right now. I got to handle this right now. Everything is now. Vision is a long-term game. If we're going for the top of the mountain, it's okay if we get a little bit off track, but we know the end goal. We can constantly navigate back. We can navigate failure. We can navigate setbacks. We can navigate hardship or needing a break. It's okay to take our time because we're playing this long game. If we're reactive, though, we're going to get way off track way fast. And I'll tell you, I have had these years in the past where because I lacked vision, because I lacked some kind of end state, because I was not committed to something bigger than what I understood about myself, I was only able to make choices today. So when something came in, I had to make a choice based on face value. I didn't have context to say, does this fit in where I want to go? Does this align with where I want to go? I just looked at it and said, oh, well, this seems good. This is shiny object syndrome. This is getting distracted. This is being unfocused. If you're reactive, you cannot be focused, because a reaction to something outside of your vision is the loss of focus. Interesting. Symptom number 1. Symptom number 2 is scarcity. When we lack vision, when I have lacked vision, here's what I do. And man, it's almost embarrassing to say this shit. I forget. I'm going to use the word forget to say no. I say yes so impulsively. I don't spend money. I don't put investment into the things that matter. And because I'm so scarce, every opportunity seems like a good one, because I'm fearful that I won't get somewhere. And because I don't know where that somewhere is, I don't have a way to say, is this taking me closer or further? So I'm like, well, I don't know. I can't invest in that right now. It doesn't take me near my goals. I don't know if I should put money here. And so I end up not moving. Rather than cutting, which is an essential function of vision, I cut nothing. I say yes to so much that I'm so stressed out. I'm so decentralized. I'm so absolutely strung out because I'm afraid that it's all going to go to shit, and I make no moves. And when an airplane feels like it's just hovering, it's on its way down. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? There's so much in this that matters when it comes to your ability to make choices. You have to invest in vision. That doesn't mean money. That doesn't mean only money. I'll put it that way. That could mean your energy, your time. But if you know that you want to be really healthy in the future, you're going to have to make choices about that. You're going to have to put forth more energy to get fit, especially if you're not fit, right? I know a lot of people who have said, I want to get fit. I know a lot of people for 10 years have said they want to get fit, but they make no investment because they're scarce, right? Oh, I don't want to pay for a trainer. That guy doesn't deserve 50, 60, $100 an hour. No, that's not what you're paying for. What you're paying for is change. When you join one of our coaching programs, you don't pay for the time. That's not what you pay for. You pay for decades of experience creating change. We make you move, but you can't do that if you're scarce. ROI is actually very easy to find if you know what you're looking for. But as soon as you say, I don't have it, I can't do this, that scarcity traps you in. And then you get this weight, this cloud over your shoulders and over your head that just reminds you you don't have enough, you don't have enough, you don't have enough. And that's a symptom that you're lacking vision, because a visionary will make the cuts and the choices that get them where they want to go. That might mean you got some things to cut in your life. It certainly means I got things to cut in my life. It's important. But scarcity shows its face in a lot of nefarious ways. And if you've heard of scarcity mindset is belief that if I put my intentions, my energy, my money forward into something that I believe in, it won't come back. So why would I do it in the first place? Come on now, let's not do that. And scarcity is so prevalent and loud in the entrepreneurship community because we don't believe we're enough, because we don't believe that our actions will take us where we want to go. In fact, I'd say the number one thing that stops people from investing in themselves, be it reading, courses, education, or programs, is the belief that this investment will not make me better because I can't get better. Doesn't sound like you? It's the old me too. It is the old me as well. Getting out of scarcity mindset is really important, but it's a symptom of lacking vision. So if you don't have vision, you probably don't feel abundant. You don't feel like you're capable of making some big advances. Abundance is important. I'm going to make this very quick note. For those of you that think that abundance is saying yes to everything, abundance is not saying yes to everything. Abundance is actually saying no a lot. When you are abundant, you are free to say no. That's how you know you are abundant. If a client calls and is not the right client and I'm scarce, I'm going to say yes to the wrong person. I'm going to say yes to the wrong job, the wrong client, the wrong contract, whatever it is, the wrong real estate opportunity, doesn't matter. I'm going to say yes because I'm scarce. I'm afraid it's going to go away. So I got to take this. Abundance is belief that there's more, that it will come back. That if I make good choices aligned with vision, I can say no and I can cut the things that don't align and I can invest in the things that do because it will always come back. And that's a really important container to keep in mind, right? You can say no when you're abundant. You cannot say no when you're scarce. It's scary to say no when you're scarce. Okay. Last but not least, the third symptom of lacking vision, being like stuck in operations, right? For both your life and your business, is passivity. Here's how passivity sounds. That doesn't mean you're like sitting on your couch doing nothing. You might actually be working really, really, really hard, but here's what you do. Rather than delegate, rather than own, we wait. And we wait for the right time. We wait for the right decision. We wait for the opportunity that's magical. Passivity is to let go and surrender our power. It's to say, I don't want to make this choice. I don't want to commit. I don't want to fall on my face and fail. So if I don't make the decision today, nothing will happen. But if nothing changes, nothing changes. And passivity is a perplexing cancer inside of a business. If you have a business and you're feeling like it's stalled, there's probably some passivity happening. We make no change, then we get no change. And for those of you that say, I want to grow my business, I want to grow the entity, you will have to make cuts, you will have to invest, you will have to also take massive action. It's a fun fact of life. When we are passive, things pass us by. And that doesn't mean that what is behind you needs to be dug back up. What I am saying, though, is that if you start to notice your passivity, if you start to notice that people aren't following you, if you start to notice that people aren't listening, it's probably because passivity has taken over. It's probably, and here's a bet based on my history, it's probably because the direction you are traveling is directionless. And passivity has this really toxic hold on us. It encourages us to stay seated rather than stand. To take a stand for what you believe in, to hold your values, to maintain your vision, you will have to fight for it. And you cannot fight passively. You cannot fight with your hands behind your back. You cannot make a choice that moves you towards vision without making a commitment to it. And these things, they show up in crazy ways. You know, when I was in my 20s, passivity was like normal, I think. I think when you're in your 20s, like you can be passive. You can afford it because you're still learning, right? But I was in different groups. I was still trying to figure out who I was. And in many ways, I still am. But the common trait that I saw was people that were waiting to be noticed. They were waiting to get, you know, the opportunity. They were waiting for the right time. They were waiting to ask the girl out. They were doing nothing but hoping for something. And in my experience now, what I've learned is that passivity is a distrust of who we are. It's a distrust of our capacity. It's a distrust of what we believe in. It's also a tremendous disservice to like your future. My God, if you're passive, it's going to move past you. It's just a very simple principle. And it's a symptom of lack of vision because with vision, there is a certain level of go needed. If you have a vision and it compels you, then it also compels choice. It compels opportunity. It compels us to make new choices. It compels us to think differently about what we are deciding and not deciding, right? And vision, if vision is clarity and it's this criteria for how we make choices in the first places, then being passive is a symptom of lack of it, because there's no way to have a vision, to see something that others can't see, to move forward in a way that's meaningful and be passive at the same time. So these three are like the symptoms that keep us stuck in the familiar. If you're feeling bored, plateaued, if you feel like you're not growing, if you feel like you're like slowly fizzling away, you're like atrophying, right? It's like when you don't go to the gym for a while, your muscles atrophy, they weaken, they lessen. If it feels like that in your business, if it feels like that in your personal life, if it feels like that with your relationships, if it feels like you have no direction, you're not sure what to do, you're overcome with this pain of, it's like a dull pain. It's not even like it's not that bad. Like it's super painful feeling. It's like I mean, the water's hot, but I don't really feel the need to change it. I bet you have one, if not all three of these symptoms. You're reactive, you're in scarcity, and you're passive. Reactivity, scarcity, and passivity are the like remnants of who you used to be. They're the past self that we have, the version of us that we have not let go of. And in that, this is a great time of year to stop and slow down and say, hey, which of these three, if not all three, am I displaying and experiencing? If you are experiencing them, then it's time to work on vision. And I will help you. I will give you as much as I can this year. We're going to really double, triple, quadruple down on vision to help you. If you want some of our tools, jump on Instagram, jump on Facebook, jump on TikTok, send me a message, jump on YouTube, make a comment beneath one of the videos, and let's get you moving forward. I'll give you all the tools that we have. I'll give you all of the workbooks and formulas that we have. Just reach out. Because if you stay there, the longer you stay, the harder it is. It's like fitness. It's not very hard to maintain your fitness when you get it. It is very hard to get it back. So send me a note, send me a message. Let's get you unstuck. Let's get you out of your own way. Let's get you moving towards vision. Let's get you identifying where you want to go. And let's figure out on that hiking journey that you and I are going on, let's figure out where the top of the mountain is. If you can tell me what you want, you can have it. If you can't say it and you can't tell me what you want, you will never have it. Vision is your answer. Have a good day. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in.